And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another day here, another day of the HomeStory Cup. HomeStory Cup 28 Revelation Retaker. No longer group stage, the playoffs, baby. Here we go. Over the past week, we've been catching up with the group stage of HomeStory Cup. The group stage has been finalized, and now we are going to be jumping into the playoffs. Let's go, let's go. We've made it here into the playoffs. We have our top players here of the tournament, and give us a moment here to set things up to showcase the upcoming matches, the upcoming bracket as well. Bearing in mind for this event, it is going to be double elimination as the double elimination tournament. Just bear that in mind. It is going to be double elimination, and we do have the top players of the event. Here we go. Bam. Let's switch our seats over and catch up on the bracket. From the top, we have our top 8. So it's going to be top 8. Top 8 did make it through into the playoffs. Double elimination. We do have Zoun versus HeRoMaRinE versus Big Gabe. We have Showtime versus SOS in PvP. We have Clem versus Lamb on a TVZ, and we have Cyril versus Rainer in a ZvT. No shot. Now, what is brutal as well, it is quote-unquote double elimination starting from the top 4. So because of that, the first round is single elimination, and that is brutal here. What were the seedings? I mean, I say what were the seedings, it's also on Rainer. If you remember, Rainer, he did actually come second in his group, second to Showtime. Because of that, we have Cell versus Rainer in the first round. Like, that is how the seedings did turn out, and that is brutal for Rainer. I mean, brutal for both of them, really. Like, these are the top 2 Zerg players in the world, and one of them is out in the top 8, or in the round of 8. So again, crazy seeding, crazy setup there in the quarterfinals. When it comes to the other matches here, I am looking forward to Zoun versus HeRoMaRinE. As I've said during the group stage, Zoun, I'm still on the fence about his current state of play because he's very inactive when it comes to online tournaments and weekly open cups as well. So I'm not too sure how to play Zoun. Gabe may have actually a strong showing there and a strong chance. Likewise, Clem versus Lamb is going to be a lot of fun, and SOS versus Showtime, I'm sure, is going to be very chaotic as well. So we do have our initial 4 best of 5s. The way that we split this up here is we're going to have 3 days of HomeStory Cup. Day 1 of the playoffs, I should say. Day 1 is going to be the upper bracket quarterfinals, bearing in mind this is purely best of 5s. Day 2 is going to be upper bracket semis and lower bracket semis, and then day 3 is going to be the upper bracket finals, lower bracket finals, and grand finals. So again, 3 days of StarCraft. Typically, the way that the main event did handle this is they had a B stream, so they could run multiple series at once. We don't have that luxury. We're going to be covering every single match ourselves. Let's go, baby, let's go. Up first is going to be Zoun versus Big Gabe. We'll start from top to bottom. Bear that in mind. So we're going to be starting with a Big Gabe versus Zoun. We'll be ending with Cyril versus Rainer. Oh boy. And game 1 is going to be on White Rabbit. Also, yes. Buenos dias. Good evening, good morning. Buenos dias. Si Setsuna, Slow Joe, Big Stick as well. Bienvenidos as we jump into our initial series, as we jump into game 1. And spawning in the top right hand corner of White Rabbits, we have the German Terran player. We have the red Terran representing Mouse. It is HeRoMaRinE. And spawning in the bottom hand corner, we have the South Korean Protoss player. We have the blue Protoss representing Team Vitality. It is Zoun. Here we go, jumping into our initial series here, and then coming into this, as I mentioned briefly earlier, I don't really know how to place Zoun at the moment. Zoun is one of the best Protoss players, or one of the best players in the world, that is true, but his current form, his current state of play is still a little bit more ambiguous to me, just because of his inactivity, just because he has not been competing in as many tournaments, so it's a little bit harder to judge his current skill level. If it was in tip-top shape, I would favor him over Gabe, but currently I'm not as confident making that statement. Gabe has been looking very strong, especially in the group stage as well, so we'll see how the two compare. We shall see. So for the time being, we do have a single gas opener, single gas out of Gabe, going for a Rax expand, economic start out of our Terran player. Meanwhile, Zoun just opening up standard on his own side of the map. Everything's looking normal for the time being. Now, typically, we should be expecting aggression out of our Terran player. Gabe is very fond of mid-game aggression against Protoss. Not really one to slow the game down too much. Can get there, of course, if need be, but we should be expecting some earlier mid-game shenanigans, or again pushes, aggression out of Gabe. Now, probe does delay the expansion. Yeah, it does delay by a couple of seconds. And does force down an SCV. Back at him is down, throwing down his own Nexus. So both players are going to be expanding. A bit of annoyance out of the probe, but nothing too major here. Yeah, nothing major. Meanwhile, Marine first into Reactor behind this. Should be building up his bio. Bearing in mind that HeRoMaRinE, he did skip his SCV scout, and he also skipped the Reaper scout, as there is no Reaper here. It's very common. It's very common in TvP, especially at the highest level, to cut those corners. There's no real need to scout early on, just because there's a very high chance your opponent is playing standard. It is more uncommon for there to be shenanigans early on from the Protoss player, and Gabe can always scout nearby at the 3rd and 4th locations, just in case there may be a proxy. Gabe is just building up. Typically, scouting information is gathered once we get into our drop play. So, racks into factory, into starport, into said drop. From Zoun, we have our tech of choice, going to be a Twilight Council opener out of Zoun, opening up into Blink. Assuming Blink. Technically, you can go into charge, but we would expect that on smaller maps. So it should be Blink, and we'll keep an eye on the gateways. First Stalker has arrived, no safety bunker on the low ground, and with that, mining is going to be delayed. But no major kills. No kills, no pickoffs. See Gabe still building up his Marines, ideally trying to catch out that Stalker. Oh, now there's an Adept. But at least the army got here a little bit late. What I mean by that, on smaller maps, the Stalker and Adept could get here to delay the CC. Thankfully, CC is not delayed. Oof. One Marine gets picked up. Two Marines. Yeah, two Marines go down. You can see shields have been stripped from both gateway units. And now Gabe breaks out. It breaks out, opening up Cyclone behind this as well. The Cyclone will shut this down, and Gabe should be able to maintain his natural. So far, a pretty clean defense out of our Terran. So far, so good. Meanwhile, across the map, there's Blink. So we have Blink, we have extra gateways. Interesting. Because this map is a little bit larger, I would have expected to have seen a bit of a greedier build out of Zoun, as he does get caught out. But no, Zoun is playing safe. We have one gateway at the natural, we have two gateways in the main, 3-gate Blink out of Zoun into a Robo as well. It's a very safe play here from our Protoss player. Going for a more delayed expansion. Oh, and HeRoMaRinE behind this does go for not just the add-on swap, he does go for his tech lab in his factory into tank production. We do have a Banshee play as well here out of Gabe, so that much more committed here. Of course, eventually we'll get into the main base with said Banshee. The Cyclone also shocking around, checks for the 3rd base location, confirms there is no 3rd. So based on this information, as Gabe does check the other 3rd base location, he confirms, okay, it's either 3-gate Blink or 4-gate Blink Stalker. It's one or the other, either a safer build or a more aggressive build. So Gabe is setting up. He's racing back home. He's now where the Zoun was not being greedy. And he's getting ready. He's getting ready. Zoun does move out across the map. Ideally, just to poke away at the army. Banshee threatening the main base. Zoun is in position. Didn't scout the tech earlier, but he is ready in the main, and he will snipe the first Banshee. Yeah, late reaction out of Gabe. He committed. Banshee goes down for one probe. Not worth it for the Terran. Meanwhile, Gabe moves out to get spotted. Okay, he is spotted. Tanks are exposed as well, and Gabe is being torn apart. He was going to lose the tank. Yeah, one more shot. Tank goes down, but miscontrol, one Stalker is thrown away, but that is still worth it for Zoun. As they'll snipe one tank, delays the push, snipe the Banshee as well, lost one probe, but so far Zoun is all over Gabe. And these have been some rough losses. Now, thankfully for Gabe, Zoun went 3 gates. If Zoun was going 4-gate Blink into a Prism, into a committed push across the map, Gabe would just be dead. Because he's down to one tank, he's out in the open, he would have lost this tank as well, and then we could just get pushing. Snowball out of control. So thankfully Zoun isn't too committed. Banshee does get across the map. Getting 3, getting 4 probe kills, not bad. Getting into 5, late reaction out of Zoun. Yeah, Zoun was focusing elsewhere, going for the Raven. Ooh, Raven gets sniped. Yeah, Raven is sniped, I believe, another tank as well. You have a tank and a Raven in the main. It's going to be a one-way trip, though. Tries to recall. Does save his 3 Stalkers. But the Banshee is still wreaking havoc here. Jesus. So it's 3 Stalkers and so far 6, sorry, I should say so far 8 probes for what? For a tank, a Raven, 6 SCVs. A bit of a back and forth trade here. In the end, Zoun, he will defend. The problem here is that HeRoMaRinE, he lost 2 tanks. He has no pushing power. Not anymore. He is stuck at home. He's stuck at home. Banshee was just sniped, which means no more Banshees. In the end, were the Banshees worth it? Killed, was it 6 probes? No, 8 probes towards the end. It's okay damage. Not ideal for 2 Cloak Banshees, but at least HeRoMaRinE achieved something. But from here, the game will slow down. The game is slowing down. Zoun should be thinking about a 4th base. There it is. He's not just thinking about it. So 4th base is on the way. We have Colossi on the way as well. Gabe is looking to be active. His first 2 medevacs have finally arrived. And now he can stay more freely. Ooh, the observer, the army does run in. They do meet each other. Zoun spots the move out. Wants that Cyclone, doesn't quite get it. Ooh. Yeah, bleeding out a Stalker. Gabe is sharking around. Zoun is keeping up with the rotations. And as Gabe postures, saturating his 3rd. He's building up to 3 bases. So far, economically, he's holding his own. It's still quite tense. Army gets spotted. Ooh, and Gabe is going for it. Yeah, he's going for the dive. We'll see if Zoun can collapse in. We'll see if he wants to. Trying to get on top of the tank. Better positioning. Very nice concave by Gabe. Oh my god. Yeah, the spread was insane. He punishes the Zealots. And the Zealots go down. This army here from Zoun is so vulnerable, so fragile. He's going for it though. Does get the tank. Okay. Tank gets picked up. He's got his double Colossus. The army's overstimmed. And Zoun holds. Does hold on. Picking up a couple of Marauders in the retreat. Got some reinforcements on the way. Gabe is still pushing in. And with Vikings and tanks, can he catch out this army? It's going to be close. The army here is still deep in the red for Gabe. Yeah, a couple of Colossal swipes and the army is going down. And Marines, Marauders. Oof. Still does catch a Colossus. Gets one. And Gabe can barely keep pushing. And he's still moving in. And this is a very messy fight. Very, very messy. On the one hand, Zoun, he lost a Colossus. Gabe lost his tanks. Gabe still has a little bit more momentum, though. He wants that Colossus. He wants it. Still rallying more in. 4 CCs on the way. Now, what I will say after the armies do clash, they traded with each other. Zoun did lose a little momentum himself, and that means that Gabe can now start to freely look to expand. Now, when it comes to generalizations here about TVP, we do bring this up quite often. In Terran versus Protoss, when we get into the mid game, when we get into the late game, a lot of this does rely on the Terran player getting a 4th and getting a 5th base. These expansions do provide some big power spikes to the Terran. Typically, traditionally, the Protoss should have map control and Zoun should be able to mass expand. That is not really the case here this game. The Protoss does need more bases than the Terran to be able to keep up and then eventually overwhelm with a cheaper, with a more inefficient army. But again, Zoun, he's a little bit late to react and respond with the 5th base just because he has to rebuild his main army. So he's stuck rebuilding. Gabe is getting his 4th ready. Zoun now takes the 5th base. But I am concerned with Zoun. I'm concerned. Thankfully for Zoun, HeRoMaRinE, he just completely backs off, and we do have a Ghost Academy on the way. So Academy, do have another Starport, Interfusion Core. Gabe, he's turtling up. He's turtling up. Not the easiest to do so here on White Rabbit. Does expand forward towards his opponent. Areas here can be abused. We did see that from Cristiano, if you recall. We casted Cristiano versus Gabe in the group stage on this very map, and Cristiano did actually defeat Gabe, did bring him down, partially because of how open this area is in between the 3rd and 4th. Cristiano, who was so good at applying pressure and just abusing this. I will say that Zoun has slowed down quite heavily here compared to Cristiano. Cristiano, he would just be in Gabe's face non-stop. Zoun did give him time. As well, so they do try to slip by. So they try to, they do. SvT's going to be going down. Main army does rush in. The planetary is done. We have a siege line behind this as well. Gabe's holding. Oh, does overextend though. Yeah, big overextension. Throws away a chunk of supply. And Marines and Marauders are all going to be shut down. But there are no Zealots. Oh my god. Where are the Zealots? Yeah, without charge, else we cannot collapse on the tanks. We cannot push forward. Zoun is struggling. And Gabe doesn't just hold, he takes a better fight. He takes a much better fight here. Again, Zoun is just trying to brute force his way through the main army. There are other angles of attack. There is. And Gabe is going to be the first to max. He's almost there. Now, this is why I'm starting to be concerned for Zoun. So the correct way to play this out for Gabe, which is what he's doing, is Turtle. Turtle, defend. Your opponent is going to be rushing into you, take a better fight defensively, and then counterattack. Ideally, Gabe wants to refine his army, building up to tanks, Vikings, Ghosts, and then eventually Liberators. So Gabe should be at home for the near future. Leading out a Viking. Does lead off a Viking. Disruptors have arrived. Shows us Nevers. First Never goes up. Disruptor does get sniped. But Never doesn't connect. There's that fusion core. Again, that's going to be for Liberator range. Gaby's almost there. And the pressure is on Zoun. Now, what I will say, when Gabe gets his 5th expansion, he's going to spread himself even more thin, and he's going to be more vulnerable as a result. So that should be granting Zoun an opportunity to try to punish and try to break a defensive Terran player that's spreading themselves too thin. There should be opportunity. Should be. Zoun is being active. Hey, it does catch a couple of Marauders. Liberator production has begun. So the Liberators are on the way. I believe there's already a 5th. Yeah, there's already a couple of CCs. More CCs are being thrown down. Zoun rotates on the right. Again, I'm sure he's hoping to find a command center. Nice CMP. Zoun does find a better angle here. And he tries to. Trying to make his way in. The DTs are tend to slip by. Oh, there he goes off. Decent connection. Yeah, smashing into 4 more orders. More Novas do not connect. Yeah, don't quite connect here. And now Gabe, he can commit and he will kill all Colossus. Both Colossus go down. Nova doesn't get the splits though. Oh my god. Oh my. Some splits, but otherwise some massive connections. Yeah, a bit of a back and forth. We're getting messy. Oof. Once again, catching out Gabe. And it's on Zoun to just keep reinforcing, keep warping in more Zealots. There it is, warping in 7 Zealots at a time. Zoun, he's got to keep pushing. He cannot let Gabe stabilize. Gabe still needs more time. Oh, nice target finding the Disruptor. Oh, geez, the friendly fire. Massive chunk of Zealots go down. Raising the army. And Zoun, has he done it? He's down to 0 Disruptors. No Zealots either. Stalkers are going down. Extensive losses here for Zoun. Yeah, very rough losses. Ooh, and now Zoun starts the Stargate. Ay, ay, ay. It's a late tech choice, a late transition. We'll see if he needs it. Once again, decent splits. Oof, oh god. Novas do connect towards the end. Liberators have finally arrived. I would say that these Liberators are a little bit late, for sure. But they're finally here. They've made it. So I'm rotating once more. Again, he's got mainly a Zealot heavy composition. It's mainly charge lots. There he goes up. Oh my god, nice connection. This is one and the other. Decent split. Decent split towards the end, but there's still so many Zealots left over. Zealots are going for the bases. We got a master around, and Zoun, he's done it. Zoun, he's cleaned up the army. He can keep on pushing. It's still close, though. Yeah, still very close. 14 SCVs go down. Zoun, he retains the disruptors. That's what's important. He's built up to 4. Again, just keep swapping in. Stalkers are here for the dive. Nice round by Gabe. Yeah, very nice concave. Oh gosh. Novas still do connect mainly on Marines. Oh god. Yeah, Gabe is just being bullied back. The Novas, they're connecting back. The disruptors. Oh my god, once again catching Ghost this time. Yeah, Ghost getting caught out of Marines as well. Gabe taking too many losses, too much damage, and again Zoun, he has broken the main army. Zells they peel off into the 3rd this time. And Zoun has done it. Zoun, he has done it. There were definitely chances, there were opportunities for Gabe. Again, his Liberator switch was very delayed, was very late. But on top of that, the Novas, geez, they just keep connecting. The splits weren't there. Oh god. Again, it was close. It was close for a long time as well. One too many poor fights for Gabe. And Zoun should be looking to take a lead in the series. Looking to take a lead back. As at this point, there's just not enough left. Oh my god. Novas, they just keep popping off, Pappy. Ah, god. They connect one after the other. GG gets called, and Zoun, he will take game number 1. Whew, GG. GG, well played. A back and forth here. Initially, Gabe, I was actually favoring him. Like, he was able to get his 4th base up and running, get his 5th CC as well. He never did take it, by the way. He was stabilizing and turtling up on 4 bases, but we did see that Zoun found an opening, specifically the ramp leading into the natural. That's the main area that he was able to abuse, able to push into, as he didn't have to deal with a planetary or a siege line, really. It was mainly the bio army. Did have some nice concaves, some nice arcs out of Gabe, but again, the Novas gained so much value over time there. We just saw Nova after Nova connecting, so that Gabe had a really hard time reacting, pulling away, and splitting against those Novas, as a couple of them started landing, and then things very quickly snowballed out of control with more Novas, with more Zealot Warpins. GG. GG, well played. Whew. And with that, Zoun does take a lead in the series, and we'll see if he can extend that lead or if Gabe can start to bounce back. Up next, HeRoMaRinE. Let's go. Yeah. As spawning in the top right hand corner of HeRoMaRinE, we have the German Terran player. We have the red Terran representing Mals. It is HeRoMaRinE. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner, we have the South Korean Protoss player. We have the blue Protoss for Team Vitality. It is Zoun, leading the series 1-0. Now we go from one extreme to the other. White Rabbit is one of the largest maps in the map pool. Now we load into one of the smallest maps in the map pool. Welcome to HeRoMaRinE. And this map will be favoring more aggressive builds and more aggressive timings from the Terran player, or from both players really. So we do expect to see more aggression out of our players. A likelihood of Gabe turtling up and trying to build up into a late game on this map is very low. Hello. As Zoun sets up the proxy, okay. As he mentioned, we expect aggression, right? We expect aggression on Tourmaline, and Zoun is going for his own form of aggression as well. Going for the proxy. Here we go. Okay, waves are being thrown down. Jesus, one base all in. He's going for the 4 gates. So I say 4 gateways. There's 2 across the map and 1 back at home, so 3 gates. So 3 gate aggression here out of Zoun. There's a Cybercore. Initially we start with Zealots into Stalkers. We do see that Gabe is playing a little bit safer here. He does open up double gas, so he's going for a faster factory. This will benefit Gabe in the defense because he's going for a delayed TC, but hopefully he gets a CC on the high ground. If he goes for it on the low ground, then he will be losing that base and he'll be forced to cancel and forced to rebuild. Sorry, just trying to open up the windows. It's getting quite hot. But here we go. We do have the high ground CC, so Gabe does play safe. Does play it safe. Setting up in the main. Likewise, Zoun, he does start to push out. Zoun, he actually waited for his Cybercore to finish. Interesting. So get out those Stalkers. Zoun is poking in. Ooh, delays the CC. Yeah, boys are being pulled, and we'll see if HeRoMaRinE can hold on. Losing 1, 2 SCVs. Reaper does race back home. Zoun does expand behind this, okay. Does go for the expansion. And we'll see how long it takes for Gabe to expand. When can he break out? Oh, my shot goes off. Easy connection. The bunker is still yet to finish though, and it won't. Yeah, it will not finish, will not complete. More boys are being pulled, losing 2, 3, 4 SC. Oh god, it's getting out of hand now. Yeah, it's getting out of hand here as 6 SCVs go down. Oh, 7 SCV kills. Yeah, 9 in total. 9 SCVs, Widowmine, 2 Marines, delayed on the CC. Crazy damage here dealt already. And remember, Zoun is expanding. Zoun is chilling. Zoun is chilling back at home. Twilight Council is going to be on the way. Getting into Blink. And it's all about how long is it going to take for Gabe to expand? How long until he can break out? Most likely he has to wait for his tank. He has to wait for his tank. Banshee's on the way as well. That'll help harassing across the map to try to stabilize. Zoun doesn't get in. Robo's on the way. That will provide some detection. The Banshee does have a lot of potential. Go. Cave does expand. And so far, no detection. Oh, she got spotted. Banshee's on the way. Now, one Banshee can 2-shot probes, and there's no battery in the main base. There's a battery at the natural, so the natural's a little bit more secure. Main base is exposed. Robo still not yet done. Banshee moves in. Probes will go down. Again, this is the beginning of the comeback. Getting 1, 2, 3 probe kills. 0 mining in the main. So far, so good. There's that battery. That battery does defend. Zoun taking a 3rd expansion. Still bleeding out 6, 7 probes. Oh, god. Losing up to 8 at the same time with the tanks on siege. Yeah, Zoun does catch at the army. Cleans up all the Marines. Doesn't quite get the tank though. Oh. Yeah, tank does survive. Gabe holds his own. Get home, the observer is finally out. And we're getting messy. We're getting very messy here. Okay, as it settles, HeRoMaRinE, he's caught up in the SCV count. He also has mules as well. He's got his 2 bases. Economically, Gabe, he's looking solid. Likewise, when it comes to the main army, he did retain those tanks. So I'm preferring Gabe's position. Zoun's third is late, and Zoun's tech is late as well as a result of that. No charge. And no charge yet. Gabe is moving out, so the boys are being pulled. Gabe committing here into the 2 base all in, or really 1.5 base all in. He does have momentum. And Zoun doesn't see this coming. Yeah, Zoun, he sees nothing. Now moving in, spots you all in. Yeah, now he knows. Oof, catching out a tank. Not bad. 1 tank goes down. Gabe has to rally back with his reinforcements. He's up to 3 banshees across the map already. Ay, ay, ay. That's so much DPS. That's so much damage. Yeah, from here going for the Archosis pylon. Pylon goes down, depowers everything. And Gabe cannot be stopped. He cannot be stopped. Not like this. Tank now within range of the natural. Zoun trying to catch reinforcements, but he's caught out. He's just caught out by banshees. Going for the blink, goes to the dive, he gets 1. He gets 1 tank, he barely gets both, but at the cost of almost every single stalker. Oof. Alas, so many stalkers go down. Banshees, they can just give chase. Zoun's taking in front of the dive, okay, does blink in, gets 1 more tank. Once again, though, oh, Jesus, gets punished so hard. And we just chase. Yeah, Banshees, they just hunt them down. GG gets called. Gabe has done it. Gabe overwhelms, and we have a back and forth. GG. Whew, GG, well played. We have a back and forth here. Initially, I will say that Zoun, he was doing well for himself. He delayed the expansion. It was getting his own 2-base saturation up and running. Zoun wasn't looking too bad, but Gabe had 1 ace up his sleeve. That was the Cloak Banshee, and that Cloak Banshee was the MVP. The Banshee killed so many probes in the main base and hid all that mining, which also entailed delayed the third, delayed charge, delayed the production, delayed everything. Again, Zoun had a very shaky defense against the Banshee because he had no detection. His robe was too late. Too late, no detection. With that, he was torn apart. That allowed Gabe to break out and to snowball out of control. GG, well played. Whew. And that leads us into game number 3. Bearing in mind this is a best of 5 matchup here, so this can still go either way. We're tied up and we're loading into another small map. We're going to be loading into 10,000 feet. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of 10,000 feet, we have the German Terran player. We have the red Terran representing Mouse. It is HeRoMaRinE. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the South Korean Protoss player. We have the blue Protoss for Team Vitality. It is Zoun. Here we go. And again, it was just unfortunate that Zoun never scouted the main base. He never saw the cloak being researched. He was never ready for the Banshee. He didn't see the tech lab on the starport. So he was caught completely with his pants down. That was the game-winning move for Gabe. From there, he was able to catch out Stalker after Stalker, push out across the map, and claim it from there. And welcome to 10,000 feet. Another smaller map. This time, though, does Zoun proxy once again? Based on the rally? No. Okay, so it's going to be a scout. So Zoun is going to be scouting into the main base. There is no proxy. There is no commitment here from Zoun. Not this time. So playing it safe, calming down, standard openers instead. Now welcome to 10,000 feet. 10,000 feet is still one of the smaller maps in the map pool, shortest rush distance by ground, so aggression can be favored. Rallies especially are heavily favored. That is going to influence Terran more than Protoss. But it doesn't take long at all for an army unit or for units to get across the map to reinforce. Now what I will say is that your initial 3-base setup is very secure. Your forward third base does protect your natural and your main base, but there's a bit of a give and take specifically in this matchup. The reasoning for this is the ravine. The river here between the forward third base and the rest of the map can be abused by tanks. Tanks that can siege up here and they can shell away at the mineral line, so this does become a much more contentious position here in the early to mid game. So we'll see if that does come into play. Hello, Zoun. Okay, sorry. I noticed this probe on the right hand side, but just scouting. Okay, just scouting. Making sure there's no proxy starports. Meanwhile, Stargate opener out of Zoun. Ooh, okay, bold move. Stargate openers are very out of fashion nowadays. They're very niche. Stargate openers do allow you to get into oracles, harass across the map, deal economic damage, get into phoenixes, and defend from any kind of drop play. The downside, of course, is that this does struggle against 2 base all-ins. And I would say that all-ins are relatively common here. I say relatively. They're not uncommon on 10,000 feet, so I'm a little bit torn about whether or not Zoun can get away with this. We'll see if he can. See if he can get away with it and potentially build up into Phoenix Colossus. For now, it is unscouted. Phoenix is on the way. That might be one of the reasons why we do see Stargate play again with a little bit more frequency on this map. One, the Reaper cliff into the main is completely walled off, and two, there's only one entrance into the natural, then leading into the main base. So Reaper scouting is much more difficult here on 10,000 feet. It is much more difficult. We'll see if Gabe can find a way in. For now, it's going for the mine drop. That will give him some scouting information, but likewise, the Phoenixes should shut this down. We do also take note that Zoun did choose not to open the Oracle, but is banking up Phoenixes. And because he's banking up, as he's supply blocked, but because he's banking up, it means he's going to be in position to defend and shut down the drop play. So overall, I do prefer Zoun's position here. Gabe just isn't set up to punish. He doesn't know. Gabe's rotating. He does run into the Phoenix. It does run in, confirming that they are real, of course. And you can see Gabe immediately turn back around with the medevac. Gotta be careful. Yeah, he was waiting for his boost. Phoenixes are revealed. There's that boost across the map. Basically, Gabe, he didn't know where the Phoenixes were, now he does. Now he's aware. There is potential there for Gabe. Meanwhile, no going Phoenix Colossus is going Phoenix into charge, the other option. It's going into Mass Zealots. Mindra comes in. Zoun, he does pull away, but a little bit late. Oh my god. They're losing 4. 4 probes go down. Medevac scouting the main, confirming all the gates, confirming the lack of Bay and lack of Robo. So nice scouts out of Gabe. We'll lose the Medevac. Medevac does go down. Gabe, he's securing himself. Getting towards third and building up into the mid game. Okay. We're going to slow the game down. But he has all the Vikings. He does have him. Here's Zoun working on Storm, almost done. Again, we kind of reached a lull here, a bit of a... Oh! As both players have backed off. We're building up. Again, third CC, so Gabe, he's going to get into this third base, expand forward, claim and set up on 3 bases, and most likely get ready and turtle up on up to 4. I was hoping that on 10,000 feet we'd see a bit of a shorter game, but so far things are looking to head towards the longer direction. Yeah. And again, that's partially because of the Phoenixes. Like, drop play is not really an option for Gabe. It's just a really big gamble and a really big risk. So he's just stuck at home, throwing down bunkers, turrets, sensor towers. Likewise, Zoun getting his own 4th base. 4th is on the way. Double forge, double upgrades. Yeah, we're settling down, but as it settled down, Gabe did rush into Ghost a little bit earlier, so he will have those EMPs available very soon. So he can punish Phoenixes, he can punish any kind of commitment. We should soon be seeing Zoun start to throw down his base, second Robo, start switching to Disruptors or Colossus, most likely Disruptor. That's what we're expecting. Yep, there it is. Second Robo, Bane, Disruptors. So Zoun is getting there. And so is Gabe. We did mention one of the criticisms about Game 1 is that Gabe, it took him a long time to actually get his Liberators up and running. Hopefully we can get there soon. Your first steps first is the 4th CC. Which is yet to actually begin. Uh-oh. There we go. Yeah, a bit of a late 4th base here for Gabe. And it is a bit late. Scan reveals both Robos and now the Colossus production. But switching into Disruptors. Good call. As we do have just a little skirmish. Zoun catching a couple of stray units. Gabe has to be careful. So let's catch the Observer. Let's catch the Observer. From here, Zoun is active. He's rotating. Rotating towards would be 4th base. This time a much faster Stargate. Okay, 2nd Stargate. From here we should be working towards a fleet beacon, and Zoun looks like he's thinking about Sky Toss. He's thinking about it. For now I'm maxed. Oh, nice mine connection. Jesus. Mine shell pulls up at the same time, so there's a storm. Oof. Yeah, storm does zone away. Wouldn't mind they get shut down. And Zoun is going for the 4th base, and KB cannot afford to lose that. And over the buying time, down goes the planetary. Ay, ay, ay. And Zoun, he may not kill Gabe, but he did cripple. He is crippling. The 4th base is already late. Now there is no 4th. Storms are coming in. Oh my god. Yeah, Mass is on the goes. That's a massive storm. Gabe is making 4 Liberators at a time, but again, he needs time for that. He needs time, Pappy. I'll take a lapse in. Oof, brutal connection. Nose are popping off. And Zoun pulls away. Zoun pulls away. 4th base is getting back up. Thankfully, we did see that Gabe, he had to back up 4th. Also, do apologize if you can hear some background noise. Do apologize. We'll get through it, Pappy. We'll get through it. Speaking of getting through it, Gabe does reestablish his fourth. Okay, this time he's got Liberators. This time the army's in position. Gabe, he does successfully get his fourth. Heavily fortified here on the left-hand side as well. And we have 2 more Stargates. Where's the beacon? Like, Stargates are great and all. We have +1 air attack as well, but where is the fleet beacon? Second Cyber Core for double air upgrades. Am I crazy? Yeah, there's still no... there's no beacon back. If you recall at the start of the game, we mentioned how tanks can abuse this central position. Well, Tempest can as well. This Tempest can be that much more powerful here on this map. Storm comes in. It does land. There's a fleet beacon. It's very late, but hey, it's on the way. Major pickoffs. He's now playing with fire. Again, he should not engage. Storms there by some time. Sound pulls away. We've got 5. We got 5 more CCs in production. Lovely. Oh, and Gabe is getting a 5th. Getting a 5th base. At least trying to. This does give another opportunity for Zoun. As all the posturing's been happening, Zoun just getting more bases, getting more expansions, building up his bank. Getting up to 6 bases. The other scary thing, of course, about this map, it's not just small, but because of that, less bases. There are less expansions, less bases, there's a higher chance we mine out. Zoun taking the center base. Trying to look for a way in. Trying to. Nice Nova. Yeah, Nova connects. Flanking Storm. And Gabe cannot chase. I cannot chase this army. Tempers are building up. More prisoners in the main. Does not get in. Doesn't make it through. And right now it's all just about Zoun posturing until he builds up his Tempest. So this is a posture, perk in, bleed out some gateway units, find his army. Nice time with Liberator. It's a Viking as well. Tempests are revealed. How many Vikings are there so far? Oh, only 6. Not a very high Viking count. It's a bit of a concern. Zoun is pushing in. Okay, slightly out of position. Zoun peeking for a couple of turrets. Nothing major. Oh, Gabe is gonna get called out. Never doesn't go off. Gotta be careful. Oh no, the prism is just trying to get in, baby. So the prism goes down. Blink gets punished. Punishing Blink, still posturing. I'm impressed that Gabe has built up a bank, and oh, he actually finds the free supply to move out for a counter attack. Oh my god! Okay, catching at the Colossus. Gabe pulls away, but again, there's nothing at him to defend. Yeah, nice move here out of Gabe. Gets a base and keep going. Zoun, he pulls everything back home to defend. Brutal Novas, but all three disruptors are going to go down. Still a better trade for the Terran. Catching out three disruptors. How many disruptors are left? One. Oh, only one disruptor. Zoun is in trouble. Gabe is broken out, just throwing down his towers, his turrets. Zoun still does have a bank, but his army takes a long time to rebuild. He's trying to build back up in the Tempest. Straight into Carrier. The Sky toss. As Gabe finds another expansion. Avoids a Nova. Breaks through the side defense. You can see that Zoun doesn't want to respond with his army, and he will lose everything here. Jesus. Yeah, the probes are going down the main army as well. Meanwhile, we do clash in. Oh, the Vikings, they try to pop up. Nice slow zone. Yeah, the slow zone and the storms. Jesus. Punish the Vikings. Zoun will lose another expansion. Yeah, another Nexus goes down. Mothership finally falls. And does Gabe have enough to do with the Tempest? Does he have enough? Oh my god. Takes down all the High Templar. Yeah, Templar go down, no more storms. Vikings, they give chase, they catch another Viking. Sorry, I feel like catch another Tempest. Yeah, two more Tempests go down. And Zoun, he lost another base. Zoun, he's in trouble. Now, thankfully, he has a bank. Like, the bank is keeping Zoun in this. But the bank is finite. Zoun, he can't lose too much too quickly. At the same time, Gabe also needs another expansion. Double expanding, actually. Maybe both CCs. Once again, better engaged here by Gabe. Catching all the Zealots, chasing the Colossus. So he's chasing the Carriers. Yeah, the army's still just busting through. Oh! Do you have momentum? From this point, Gabe, he has to keep going. He has to keep pushing. Can he get the disruptor? He can! Gets one. And no! There we go, one disruptor goes down. Okay, we gotta keep going. Either to the main army or to the main mining base. Now once again, gonna be sent back. No major storms land though. And no major connections. The game is just saturating. Nova goes off. Decent Nova. But it was only one. Yeah, only one Nova. Zoun is running out of interceptors. Oof. Yeah, clutch so zone. Zoun, he's holding. Oh god, that's way too soon. Always ways disruptors. disruptors are thrown away. Army kites back to the turrets. Gabe is ready for this. Yeah, they are ready. And with that, Gabe, he has done it. He has broken the main army, catching out all the carriers, all the Tempest, all the Sky Toss. Nice storm towards the end, but too late. It's too late, Papi. Ah, the missed rally. Rallying into disruptors. EMPs on the Archons, the high tempo, and everything. And with that, Gabe will look to take a lead in the series. GG gets called. Gabe takes game number 3. Whew. GG. GG, well played. Since that disruptors are so useless, that sounds like you didn't watch the previous game where Zoun did pop off, sorry, game 1, where Zoun did pop off with disruptors. I will say here that Zoun, he was caught mid-transition trying to get into Sky Toss, and again, he failed to deny the expansions. We did speak previously how these big power spikes occur when the Terran player gets a 4th base and a 5th base, and he wasn't quite able to stop those expansions from happening. I will say, though, the big winning move for Gabe, though, was splitting up his army, was going for the massive Dune drop on the left-hand side. He killed 2 expansions. He killed 2 bases, crippling and stifling the economy of Zoun, pulling apart his attention, allowing Gabe to kind of come in and to be able to outtrade, to punish the ground army, to punish the Sky Toss even as well. GG. GG, well played. But with that, that leads us into our next game. Gabe does take a lead in the series, and we'll see if Zoun can bounce back. But yeah, if you missed, I see, hold on. Saul Goodman, if you missed game 1, I do recommend it, as Zoun landed every single Nova. It was crazy. Zoun was bullying with disruptors. But here we go, spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Winter Madness, we have the red Terran player. We have the red Terran himself, representing Maus from the land of Germany. It is HeRoMaRinE. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the blue Protoss player, the blue Protoss himself, representing Team Vitality. It is Zoun. I should also mention as well that this map is that much more unforgiving as well. I say this map, the previous map, we did try to emphasize that on 10,000 feet, because the map is so small, once you start winning engagements, it very quickly snowballs out of control. Because the map is so small, because there are so few bases, once you win a fight, you can keep pushing and knock down more expansions. So Zoun, he was up against the wall real fast and real quick after losing momentum, but now we load into Winter Madness. I will say that typically these larger maps do favor Protoss instead, as there are more expansions, there are more bases, there's more area to take, and easier to gain map control instead. Oh boy. So we'll see how Gabe will change his approach. So far, double gas opener out of Gabe. Zoun opening up with his standard opener, gate expand. Here we go. But again, very strong defense, a very impressive defense out of Gabe to be able to establish his 4th, his 5th base, building up towards his 6th, and also to split off the army and to just catch his opponent off guard, to go for the backstab, knocking down Nexus after Nexus. GG. GG, well played. Here we go. Here we go. We're going to be building up. Zoun scout on the left-hand side. And with our double gas opener, that does mean faster factory, faster starport. This can lead into Reaper Hellion. This can lead into a more committed mind play. We'll see how hard we commit, even into Cloak Banshee. But okay. Let's lock in, baby. Let's lock in. As we open up, it does look like a Wood Mine Drop opener instead here by Gabe. Opening a Mine Drop, trying to scout across the map, get some vision, get some scouting, deal potentially some damage. Meanwhile, Twilight Council opener out of Zoun. I will say that the Stargate opener last game was quite successful. He was able to successfully just gain map control and turtle, or I should say turtle. I should say force Gabe to be more defensive and force him to turtle. So it was quite successful. This time though, we're calming down, getting to something more standard and potentially more aggressive as well. Stalkers are a little more versatile with how you want to use them. Meanwhile, the mine drop is on the way. Setting up for the mine drop. Back at home, Zoun throws down extra gateways. Okay. 3 gates in the main. Waiting for the robo. As Gabe is moving out. He's got his mines on the right. There's that robo. So far, still 3 gateways. And Zoun, can he deny the scout? So far, nice damage on the medevac. Oh! To save the mine. Clutch controls, wouldn't mind to take a lot of hits. And will not be saved. And not going to be saved, not this time. Meanwhile, Gabe did not get into the main base. He did see the stalker count, which is a little bit suspicious. Also, no third. Yeah. He knows. So he knows there are more gateways. He's aware of the lack of third base. We have a second mine drop into the main. Okay. Quite rare. Second mine drop comes in. Zoun pulls away. And Zoun defends at the same time. Oh. Another mine drop here. Geez, the mine drops, they continue. The original mine comes back in. Medevac barely gets away. And so far, nice harassment here by Gabe. At the same time, Zoun tries to break in, but he will lose a stalker. Yeah, one stalker goes down. Almost losing another. Jesus. Yeah, shaky defense, shaky aggression out of Zoun. Catching out the Reaper. Mine drop is deflected. And from here, the game continues. Whew, okay, so we're building up into the mid game. We have a bio setup here, stim, combat shields, concussive shell, all on the way. Zoun going for no Colossus into Storm this time. Interesting. Similar to last game. In a longer game, this should eventually lead into disruptors. He's baiting out the shots. Nice control there from Zoun. Bold move out of Gabe here. He doesn't want to take this line down. He doesn't want to be defensive, not again. So he peels off and he goes for a Doom Drop on the left hand side. Observer pokes in, sees the production. But does Zoun check the natural? He should, if he does, he should notice that the army is missing. Doesn't see much. Now going further into the natural. Now he sees. Now he knows. Oof. Zoun is aware. Sniping and medevac, so far so good. Holding on, holding on. To appreciate that Gabe is still being very active. Comes down to the storms. The storm is done. And I believe there's one High Templar in the prism. Sorry, two. Two Templar in the prism. Army sims in. And here come the storms. Templar, they chop off. One Templar goes down. Storms are landing. Oh, good. He does rush in. Yeah, he just tanks the storms, does rush in. And with that, Gabe, he's done it. Gabe, he has broken the main army. Stalkers are going down. We need another storm. Jesus. In the end, Zoun does barely hold on. But not a bad trade here out of Gabe. Preserves all these marauders, saves the army. In the end, Gabe, he caught 3 stalkers, 3 High Templar went down. That was worth it for the Terran. How many Templar are left? 2. 2 Templar, they're both in the prism. Says at most going to be 2 storms. Army sims in. Here come the storms. Marauders, they can tank. There's one more. Ooh, High Templar gets sniped. There's a second storm. That's it. Only 2 storms. A third High Templar warps in, morphing in an Archon. Very clutch defense here from Zoun. It's very tense. There we go. Warps into the Zealots. Zoun should be fine. Should be fine. Army gets baited into the minefield. Oof. Nice connections. Zoun's down to 1 Templar. And there's a storm. There's a storm in the Templar. Okay, he pulls away, he regroups. Ghost production has begun, so he's waiting for those EMPs. Whew, and Zoun can breathe. He's like, oh god. He shouldn't be out here though. Zoun has to pull away. Did at least spot the army. Zoun getting in position. There are 3 High Templar. There's the first storm. There's the first. EMP on the Templar. Jeez, the second storm comes in. And I think there's one more. Oh. Mainly zones. Major connections. Zella run by, gets into the third base with the bunker. Zell stands strong. Nice defense. And the game continues. I feel like Gabe has been hyper aggressive and he's been hoping to try to break Zoun early, and he's been close but barely not able to. So forcing out a longer game. Sensor Tower, 4th CC. Building up set upgrades. Nice catching the Observer. But once again, the game is slowing down. Now, as we slow things down, our players are kind of moving in different directions. We do have a second starport here for Gabe. He does need to build up his Viking count. Second Robo for Zoun. Zoun initially going to Colossus. Right now, there's not really much of a Viking count to speak of. There are 0 Vikings, so Colossus makes the most sense here. Once the Viking count gets too high, then you have to get out of Colossus and into Disruptors. So that's why you do have that, typically that switch into Disruptors in the late game. Colossus, they lose their value. Eventually. Otherwise, yeah, we're calming down. Calming down. Again, it was an intense mid-game. Zoun is posturing. Zoun's Prism is full of Templar. He is distracted though. Chopping the natural, picking up some Zealots. Like, Red Storm's going to be coming in. Ooh, Prism goes down and lands 1 Storm. That was not worth it for Zoun. He will lose 2 High Templar on that Prism. Oh. As Zoun does catch up the army, okay. Yeah, Gabe caught out in the open, bleeding out a lot of Marauders. Better fight for Zoun. Yeah, this is getting messy. Typically, Gabe wants to fight with his Siege line, with his SimCity. Planetary's not quite done yet either. So some rough moments there for Gabe. Played out 7 Marauders, oof. And Zoun has momentum. He's going for it. I mean, again, he sees there's no defensive setup here. Or there's not much of one. Gabe does bait out a Storm. Templar still missing. First disruptor has arrived. So they're building up his disruptors. Both armies are maxed. And there it goes up. Nice connection. Oof. Yeah, catching up the Marauders. The Vikings, they do go to town. And they will take down every Colossus. But what about the ground army? Yeah, what about the ground army here? Oh, nice. Okay, nice snipe. Takes down the disruptor. Snipes the High Templar. Oof. But again, Zoun, he's running out of storms. Down to 2. And Zoun does blink in, catching up with Liberators. Sephal's still trading well. Has to be careful with those Zealots. Yeah, we do see a big overextension. Zoun, he should not be here. Storms, they do zone back the army. Zoun, he has to be careful. Yeah, he does lose too much. Zoun has to back off. Now, unlike the previous games, by this point, we should already have a fleet beacon and a Stargate and a second Stargate plus one flyer attack. Unlike the last game, Zoun, he's not setting up for Sky Toss. He's doubling down with a ground-based army instead, which can still work, but you have to be hyper aggressive. Right now, Gabe, he got his 5th, right? He's on 5. He's on a 5 base economy. Gabe, he can afford to max out. Zoun, he has to be trading as much as possible. You can see that Gabe, he has no bank. Like, because he's been losing so many units, he has to replenish, he has to rebuild. He is stuck without a bank, and Zoun has to keep going, just to keep trading, even at times trading inefficiently. He's out a couple of Stalkers. Hand this down, he almost has every base on the map. Almost. Now it's to 5 Disruptors. Now just poking in. Let's see Gabe trying to set up a flank. Does catch 1, if not 2 disruptors. Very nice. 2 disruptors go down. Storm mainly zones. Yeah, they got a messy fight here from Zoun. Gonna lose 1, 2. Oh god, the Novas! Oh my god! Novas to connect! I wasn't sure they would. Zoun takes a 1 massive fight, landed 2 Novas. He's gonna keep chasing. Boys are being pulled. Ooh, down to 1 disruptor. Yeah, 1 disruptor left. Once again, okay, the Nova pops up. And even though Zoun is not going to kill, and even though Zoun, he lose all these Stalkers, remember, Zoun, he has a bank. He's warping in, he's reinforcing. Gabe, he bled out far too much here. Gabe, he's broke. He's running out of money. Okay, here comes another base. Crucial moment here for Gabe. Can Gabe expand? Yeah, Zoun, he does remax mainly with Zealots. With this, he's going for the base, going for the CC. Nova clipping the army. Oh my god, Nova connects. Jesus. Novas, they just keep popping up. Okay, he's fighting for his 5th base. He's trying to fight for it. I don't think he can hold on to it though. It's on the low ground. It's out in the open. Oh, he missed rally. Throws away Disruptor. Okay. Disruptor's thrown away. CC survives. Jesus. clutch last second split. Jesus. Okay, he breaks out, takes out an expansion. Does catch a Nexus. And he wants more. How many gateways are we on? 16. Warping is denied. Aye, aye, aye. I think the gateway count is a little bit low. At this stage, we went up to 20 gateways. But Zoun doesn't really have much of a bank. Gabe is remaxing. He gets his fresh mining base. True. Crucial. Can he hold on to it? Oof. Stun overs are popping off. As ZvT collapses in. Still holding on to those novas. Oh my god. Clipping the army. From here, you see Gabe does take down one expansion at the same time. Zoun going for the other. He still wants that planetary. Yeah, still wants it. He does get it. Not bad. Not bad rotation. Sniping the CC, sniping the Liberators, pulling away. Disruptors have arrived. This army is missing Zealots, and Jesus, a little bit trigger happy there. Zoun's gonna be careful. Does have to be careful here. Catching out some rollers, catching out some ghosts. Yeah, messy engage here from Zoun. Okay. Once again, we do see the Gabe he's caught out. He's caught out in the open here. He should not be out here. Ah, no. At the same time, does kill an expansion. But Gabe will lose the entirety of the main army. Ay, ay, ay. And look, it seemed like he just wanted to distract, but he just got ahead of himself. Oh, sorry. But yeah, he gets caught out, so he's going to just crumble here as Gabe will lose every single army unit. The Medivacs and Marines. Other Ghost Survivor, GG, and Zoun, he ties up the series 2-2. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Again, Gabe, he did a great job when it came to expanding and getting and setting up his 4th base. His 5th was a struggle, though. Did struggle to get his 5th base up and running, and we saw that Zoun was able to abuse him time and time again. It was a little bit on Gabe. Gabe, he got caught out in the open multiple times. It's difficult, but in this kind of position, you have to be as defensive as possible. We saw that Gabe never really built up into a critical mass of Liberators, and because Zoun was fighting so often, and because Gabe was taking some rough fights, Gabe never accumulated a bank. There was never a bank for Gabe to work with, so he could never slowly build up into a more perfected army. He was struggling to just barely hold on, and GG. GG, well played. He was spread thin, took some rough fights, and with that, we are going all the way to the ace match. Let's go. Let us go. Again, a good example of a game where Novas, they popped off. They shutting everything down. And here we go, we're getting into our game 5, into the ace match, and spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Title Citadel, we have the German Terran player. We have the red Terran representing Mouse. It is HeRoMaRinE. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the blue Protoss player, the Protoss South Korean Protoss Team Vitality. It is Zoun. Here we go. As welcome and all to Title Citadel. Now, coming into this map, I will say there's a couple of interesting features here. On the one hand, it's very defendable on 4 bases. We do have the triangular 4th base here, which does have a couple of ramps. Again, this is a pretty secure expansion. We have the linear 3rd base, which also has a more narrow choke point coming into it as well. And this area in between the bases is walled off by rocks. So securing yourself on 4 bases is relatively straightforward. It is straightforward. The 5th base is more difficult to maintain, 100%, but the scariest thing about Title Citadel is the fact that there's a gold base. Traditionally, in TVP, whenever there's a gold base on the map, that does favor the Protoss. So as you've seen, whenever we get into the late game, it's the Protoss player, it's Zoun, who has more bases, who has a bigger bank, which is necessary for them to keep up with Terran for sure. But when a gold base comes into play, this means that the Protoss player has an even greater economy and has an even stronger mid to late game if they can get this gold base up and running. So this does apply a lot of pressure on the Terran, and so far double gas opener. We'll see if HeRoMaRinE is more aggressive earlier, trying to ensure that the gold base is never a factor. But Zoun's win condition is gain map control and claim the fourth. Oh, sorry, claim the gold. That is a win condition for Zoun. And we'll see if Zoun can get there. SK picks in. Gonna be pulled away. This time we did open up Reaper, and he's continuing with extra Reapers and extra Hellion. So Reaper Hellion opener here out of Gabe, designed to deal some early economic damage. Keep an eye on the follow-up. Meanwhile, once again, Zoun with the second choice opening up Twilight Council. I say once again, once in the series it opened up Stargate, true on 10,000 feet. Did pull that off. This time we're calming down Twilight Council instead. Playing more standard. So we have our next round of Reaper Hellion. Getting into triple Reaper, double Hellion. As I mentioned before, the goal here with this kind of army early on is to get into a mineral line and is to do economic damage. He wants probe kills. It's going to be on Zoun to keep up. Zoun does have a safety shield battery in his main base mineral line. His natural has a battery a little bit further forward. As we do attempt to dive, Reapers are getting into the mineral line. So far getting one probe. Oh, just the one there. As Reaper's going to be zoned away. And they're going to be forced out. Oh, we've been hit before. So 1-1-1 Reaper Hellion into Cloak Banshee out of Gabe. Okay. Heading into Cloak Banshees. Thankfully, this time Zoun did go for a faster robo. So 3 Gabe Blink into a robo before the third. So much safer play here by Zoun. We'll have detection. Now, despite that, we have seen, despite there being detection available, we have seen Banshees pop off. We have seen them wreak havoc. So this is still going to be on Zoun. As Banshee moves out, Gabe settling into Buyer. There's been no mech this series, thankfully. No mech. Zoun is being more assertive. Bearing in mind that again, Zoun, he's delaying his own expansion here for extra warpins, for extra stalkers. Here comes a move out across the map. This is not an all-in, but this is still relatively committed here by Zoun, and we'll see what he can get done. Tank is in position, no safety bunker. Banshees to go for the backstab. Zoun looking for a way into the main. Does look for a way in. Does go for the dive, getting 1, 2, 3 SCVs. At the same time, Banshees, they hit the main. Observer does pop out there. Does pop out in time, and we're getting chaotic here. 5 SCV kills. HeRoMaRinE holds. At the same time, Banshees are getting up to 9 probes. Oh my god. Yeah, the Observer is out of position. The Observer was out of position. 12 probes go down. One of the Banshees does get away as well. And so far, a better trade for Gabe. Gabe comes out on top. 12 probe kills. Insane damage. 12 workers, denied mining. Forcing Zoun to retreat. And so far, Gabe is looking good. Zoun trying to counterattack. Lassie's distracted by the Banshee. Oh, he wants it though. He's distracted. Gabe moves out. Zoun does run into the army. He does not get the medevac. Oh. Fails to get the medevac. There's still 3 tanks left over. These Stalkers are very low. As a result, they get punished. Yeah, Zoun is in trouble. Zoun is in trouble. He has no charge. Colossus are on the way. Bleeding out more Stalkers. Tanks, they are barely within range of the pylon. Stalkers are going for the dive. He gets 1, he gets 2 tanks. And he gets all 3, but at the cost of every single Stalker. Ay. Colossus pops out. Marines, they do stem in. They start to step forward. Colossus goes down as well, and that's going to be game. Yeah, there's nothing left. There's 1 adept, 0 units. GG gets called. Gabe, he overwhelms. He breaks on through, and Gabe, he takes the series 3-2, advancing on to the upper bracket semis. GG. Whew. GG, well played. A very intense final game here for Gabe. Winding it back, what happened, Gabe, he did go for his 1-1-1 into Banshee play, Reaper Hellion into Banshee, and that Banshee did so much work. 12 probe kills, distracting the main army. What I mean by that, ideally Zoun after that defense wanted to move out to ensure there was no push across the map, to slow down the army and to pick away at the Marines, and to maybe even slow down the tanks for some sieges, and maybe even pick off a tank as well. But the army was out of position because of the Banshees. We saw that a lot of Stalkers were dedicated to that defense. We saw a handful of Stalkers went through the center. Again, it was a very disjointed effort there from Zoun, and it was taken advantage of. He was forced back, beating out more and more Stalkers, expensive losses. Yes, in the end, he bought enough time for the Colossus, but there was nothing to protect it. There was no support. Colossus on their own, I mean, they're just so fragile. They need that supportive army, and Zoun lost everything in the lead-up. He lost every single Stalker. GG, well played. With that, Gabe, he does claim the series, and we have our first matchup in the books here. It's going to be Gabe with a 3-2, and oh, there he goes. Gabe, he does advance on into the upper bracket finals. Zoun is out of the tournament. Oh.